Welcome to Turnips and Tornadoes. Thanks for helping us grow.
On today's menu, quinoa, black beans, and corn. Hang on, it's better than it sounds.
All right, today we're going to make a recipe that involves quinoa and black beans and corn. And I named it a really great name. You know what the name of it is?
I have no idea.
Quinoa, black beans, and corn.
You don't have some fancy name?
I don't. I do not.
So quinoa, where do you find quinoa? Is this good to eat?
No, I do not. I think it's in every grocery store now.
Okay.
I can't imagine them not having it.
All right. Well, we have to cook this stuff.
Yes, definitely need to cook it.
Okay, so if you're ready, I'm ready to get started. Joanne, why is rinsing it well so important?
Well, these grains have a naturally occurring chemical on them called saponin. Not sure if I said that right. And it's to deter the insects from getting on them in them, and it's a very bitter taste. And so it's you need to rinse them really well, really long time. And you can buy pre-washed quinoa, but they use an abrasion type method to do that, and that removes some of the nutrients. So I choose to not buy the pre-washed. Okay, now that I have my quinoa thoroughly rinsed, I'm going to go ahead and cook my vegetables. I've already put a small amount of vegetable broth in the pan. You could absolutely use the oil of your choice instead. So we're going to go ahead and cook. We're going to cook one small onion. I'm going to let that cook for just a couple of minutes. And then, Dan, what did you learn about quinoa?
I found out that quinoa originated in areas near Peru and Bolivia. It was cultivated and used pre-Columbian civilization. It actually was kind of slowly phased out and replaced by cereals on the arrival of the Spanish. It's technically a seed, but classified as a whole grain. It's a good source of plant protein and fiber, and 1 cup provides 8 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber.
That's interesting. It's interesting to me that it's actually a seed, but it's classified as a grain.
Right.
But all I know it's healthy. I'm happy with it. Okay, I would probably let the onion cook a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and add I've got 1 red bell pepper. If you prefer a different color of bell pepper, that would be fine. I like the red bell peppers. It's just the most ripe of. They're all the same bell pepper. It's just red is at complete maturity. It's a little sweeter.
Does it go yellow, orange, and then red?
I don't really know, but because I haven't grown them. But I'm thinking, well, green first, green pepper.
Right.
And I'm thinking probably so, because the more the color develops. Also, the more color in any vegetable. I didn't know if that was just an old wives' tale, but it is true that the more color in a vegetable, the more nutrients you get from it.
Interesting.
If you're going to eat cabbage, red cabbage has a lot more nutrition than white cabbage. But
interesting.
yeah. Okay. And normally I would let these cook a little bit more, but I'm going to move on for the sake of just moving on. Now I'm going to add, I made a little space in the middle of the skillet. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. I always cook my garlic only a couple of minutes so that it doesn't burn. And I'm going to go ahead and add I'm using ancho chili pepper and cumin seed. Ancho chili pepper has a lot of chili flavor, but very, very little heat. We're kind of wimpy, so, and you could use a hot chili powder, anything, however you like. If you like the heat, add the heat, for sure. I'm going to add, let's see, I believe it's 1 teaspoon. Oh, let's do 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Yeah, it is 1 teaspoon of both of them, actually. Cumin is used in a lot of Mexican foods. It's good stuff. It has to me, a very smoky flavor. And if you don't like a lot of that, always adjust the recipe to your taste. It's never that you have to make a recipe the way it's written. You can do it to your own taste. Okay, so I'm toasting they call that blooming the spices, and it just gives it a better flavor. It's not as harsh of a flavor. I'm not sure what it does. So you're almost sort of like caramelizing them. It really adds to the flavor. We're gonna let that go a little while. And then, let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt and pepper. I'm only gonna add about a half teaspoon of salt. You can always add more later, but you can't take it out. So it's better to go, because since I'm using broth, it has a lot of sodium in it also. If you're using oil instead of broth, well, you're gonna have broth in it no matter what. So you gotta watch that, because you can always add it at the end. And I'm gonna add some pepper. It's kind of to taste. I normally don't even measure my pepper, I just kind of throw it in. Since I'm cooking with broth, I have to watch my pan, add a little bit more sometimes. If you're using oil, you don't have to mess with that.
This just makes the quinoa, this will mix in with the quinoa. The quinoa itself is somewhat bland, I would imagine.
I would think so. I've eaten it in bowls with things. I've never eaten just quinoa by itself. Maybe it is good, but I don't think it would be super. I guess we eat rice by itself sometimes, and it's kind of bland, but I don't think it would be fantastic by itself. But that might be just because I haven't ever experienced that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put my rinsed quinoa in.
How much of that is it?
I'm putting 1 cup of quinoa.
Okay.
The only thing, you just measure it according to how your broth and your quinoa kind of needs to be a certain amount. But other than that, it doesn't matter. Sometimes if I'm cooking for a crowd, I will double this. It doesn't seem like much, but it comes out pretty. This will probably be, and it's hard to know, maybe 4 or 5 servings maybe. Okay.
How long are you going to cook it for, approximately?
I'm going to pour my broth in. I'm using about 1.5 cups of broth to 1 cup of quinoa. And when it's cooked, I'm going to cook it for about 20 minutes. And just keep an eye on it. I always like to use a skillet with a glass lid so I can kind of look at it without opening it. But if it looks a little dry, just add a little more. If it looks too wet, you can kind of remove the lid a little bit and let the evaporation take care of the rest of that. I do that a lot with oatmeal and all kinds of things. Okay, so let me check my recipe. I think that's everything that we want to put in it now. And we're going to let it, like I say, cook for about 20 minutes with the lid on, just simmer. And we'll come back and finish the recipe. Okay, quinoa is done. I always watch it, and sure enough, it only really took about 17, 18 minutes, and I ended up adding a tiny bit of broth at the end, just on one side. It was sticking a tiny bit. So anytime you cook any grains, you have to kind of watch. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add the last ingredients. All we're doing with these ingredients is just warming them up. We're going to add some corn. If you had fresh corn, that would be fantastic. We're in February, we don't have fresh corn. You can use, I'm using thawed frozen corn. You can even use a can of corn, just drain it and rinse it really well. But this is some frozen corn. And I'm adding 1 can of drained, rinsed black beans. Normally I cook beans from raw beans, dry beans, and then that would be even better, but I didn't have any black beans right now. And I'm adding a can of chopped green chilies. They have some with heat. We're using the mild today. So let me get that mixed up. Like I said, all we're doing is warming this up. So even though that wasn't very much quinoa, as you can see, it makes by the time you add that other stuff, it makes a fairly good amount. And then I'm going to add some lime. I like to kind of roll my lime so that it will give me a little more juice. Another way you can do it is put it in your microwave and hit it for like 3 seconds. And that will help you to get more lime juice out also. Okay, and this is to taste. We like lots of lime. We're going to add lime, and then I have some lime slices at the serving area, and we'll probably end up adding even more lime. And then you're going to taste it in case you might need some more salt or pepper or more lime. Okay, there we go.
So it's really half a lime.
Yeah, but it's totally to taste. I probably will end up adding more to our serving probably, but that's because I really like a lot of lime. I'll take a little taste and grab a spoon.
It's a very colorful dish as well. I'll
It
tell you
is,
what.
and it's going to get even more colorful when we add the stuff at the table. I think that's fine. I don't think we need any salt or any more salt or pepper on it. So basically that's the dish, other than what we're going to add to each individual serving. So we'll come back and we'll try it out, see if we like it.
Is it ready yet?
It's ready.
All right, good. Oh, you've already dipped it up for us.
Yeah, I dipped it up. Now, but we have some finishing things to put on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks weird. Kind of does weird if you're not used to seeing quinoa.
Possibly. They have a little tail on each one. Did you notice that? It is.
I wish you hadn't pointed that out.
Okay. And we eat this as a main dish. This is our whole,
Yeah.
we add a few chips to it sometimes. But if you want a meat as a protein, this will be a great side dish. It would be a great dish to take to a potluck. But absolutely it would be delicious. With
Served
meat.
warm or cold, or does it matter?
I think you could serve it cold. I prefer warm.
Okay.
You could call it a salad then, if you do.
And if you've got a husband that looks at that and says, no thank you, just tell him it'll make you more virile, you'll be able to lift more, run faster, because I think once they taste it, I think they'll
I
actually
think
like
so.
it, especially once we dress it up a
Yeah,
little
we're
bit.
going to dress it up
What's
a
going
little.
in it?
Okay, we're going to put some tomatoes on it, and I salted and peppered these tomatoes so they got some flavor because they're grocery store February tomatoes.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is sad.
Once you've had good tomatoes, it's hard to go to the grocery store
So
and
hard.
taste those plastic things.
And sometimes we don't have avocado, so we eat this sometimes without, but it is really good with
Yeah.
a little bit of avocado.
Dresses it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then we do love cilantro. I understand that people's brains are different, and some people interpret it as a soapy taste, and they absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
A substitute would be parsley or chives or nothing,
Okay.
but we love the parsley, so
do.
here we go.
You grow parsley in the herb bed, right?
Parsley I do, cilantro I have at times, and then because I'm kind of a lime lover, I always squeeze a little more lime on there. So now it looks pretty dressed up.
Does.
And then we're going to add, we don't eat a ton of chips with it, but it's nice to have a different texture with it, so we add a few chips. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Can we
Please.
sample it?
Yeah, let's sample it.
Okay, you first.
Okay. Get a little bit of everything.
Don't forget to like our channel, subscribe, and if you'd like to be notified of new episodes, hit the notification bell. How is it?
It's good.
Is it really
I've always
good?
liked this, yeah. You have the cold, the room temperature, cilantro, tomatoes, avocado, then you have the warm quinoa dish.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like it?
That's really good.
Nice, nice.
I'm feeling more virile right now.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate that. We're going to have the recipe in the comment section, and so you can follow that, but feel free to modify, freelance a little bit like you do. You kind of
Absolutely.
ad-lib a little bit based on the ingredients that you can find, and just have fun with it. That's what cooking should be all about, is kind of getting in and just kind of experimenting and having fun. We have some future episodes. Once it warms up, we're going to get into the garden and show you a little bit about how we get started with that. This is your channel. If you've got some recipes or some things you'd like us to make, easy to do.
Easy to do. Maybe a little weather
Yeah,
stuff every now and then.
absolutely. We'll do
Yeah.
that. So thank you so much for watching. We're going to enjoy this right now.
And
Here
if
you
you
go.
have anything that you would like us to try to cook, I say try. Please let us know in the comments and we will try to give it a shot.
Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Oh, wow. You're good.